Hello and welcome back to LOWBORN, and we're here at Carbanseth Bank. And as you know, each and every single bank has a limit to how much money you can have in there. And as you can see, we actually have hit the limit. Yes, push it to the limit. Yeah, exactly, we've done that. So 100 million is the limit, and we are indeed going to be withdrawing a whole bunch of it. I just wanted to show you that we're going to be withdrawing it, because otherwise you're going to be like, oh, where'd you get all the money from? And all that stuff. So yeah, we're just going to take 99, sorry. Oh, I missed one. Okay, so 80. Let's take 80. Am I doing this right? No, I still didn't do it right. Of course not. Ah, this is terrible. Okay, wait. There we go. That's better. Okay, so now we have 88 million. Yes. 88 million in our possession. That is such a ludicrous amount of money. Ah, wow. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, literally, having that much money? I don't even know. Okay, so yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to be attempting to take one of these castles. I think we're probably going to go ahead and take Pendraic Castle. It's right here. I don't really like this. You know what? Okay, fine. You know what we're going to do? We're going to actually call for an army, see if we can actually even do that. No, looks a little bit wrong. Yep, looks a little bit wrong right here. Technically, what we could do is we could create a party. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing, right? The only reason... Oh, by the way, yes, I need to actually make my wife the scout again. Yes, but okay, so now here's the thing, right? I was thinking that I would create a party out of some of our people here. I'm actually thinking that we might make a party out of this guy, because he's really, really good with his combat skills. And if he, you know, can actually level those up a little bit, then that would be really, really nice. I don't really want to make this guy a party leader, because if we make him a party leader, he's not going to be able to make children with his wife. So that's obviously not really what I'm looking for right there. So I'm thinking we're going to just do this guy. There we go. And, oh yeah, well, this is a bit of an issue, isn't it? I have no idea what to actually even give him. Should I even give him any units whatsoever? I suppose I should probably give him some. So there we go. We'll give him 28. I'm not going to give him too many. I'm going to have faith in him that he's actually going to do a good job, right? Let's make sure that he does a good job. So his composition... I don't even know what his composition should really be, but not any horse archers, that's for sure. Let's make him get a bunch of archers. We want 50% archers here, I guess, and you know, maybe 30% infantry, something like that, I guess. And troop template, active orders. What is an order? Oh wow, okay, yeah, there's a bunch of different ones that we can choose from. Okay, so we can besiege a settlement, we can recruit, yeah, order the party leader to only focus on recruiting troops. If they have an assigned troop template, they won't visit settlements. Okay, yeah, sure, let's have him recruit. And then we will have him... you know what? I don't really care what else he does. As long as he recruits things, I don't care, okay? As long as he's just, you know, staying maxed out as much as possible, that's what's, you know, that's what's the most important to me right now. Okay, so he's going to go ahead and do that, and now we are going to go over here and try and see if I can... This is going to be kind of problematic. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to even do this. Yeah, he's going to level up quite fast, him doing this as well. So that's quite nice. But yes, as you can see right here, he is indeed completely focused on combat skills. So yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to, if necessary, maybe we'll take him over at some point. I don't know, probably not. But yeah, oh, nice. The Botanians are actually coming in here and helping me out. That's very unusual. Usually they don't do that. Usually they're kind of busy. Usually they're kind of busy doing other things. Okay, so this is going to be really, really simple for us, or at least I hope so. Who is actually leveling up here? Oh, this guy. Okay, yeah, so he's still actually leveling up. Okay, well, it's going to be a little bit annoying because he's going to have a whole bunch of level ups and a whole bunch of perks for us to spend and so on and so forth. Okay, so let me actually just start getting some of these trebuchets up and running, because we will be needing to destroy their walls. It's going to take quite some time for us to do that, but it's going to be necessary. Otherwise, we are just not going to have... Oh, no. Oh, no. Are you serious? This is bad. Okay, let's do an auto-resolve right there. Yeah, this is kind of a bad situation for us to be in right now. I kind of didn't want to do that. Yeah, I mean, we have about the amount, I guess, kind of, maybe. Yeah, okay, so wait a minute, what's actually happening here? Are they just gonna wait until these guys get closer? Because we've already got 568. If I leave right now, we're not gonna have... we're gonna lose this. We're going to lose this if I stay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this fight here. Yep, perfect. Okay, that was absolutely 100% the right decision to make here, because if not, if we hadn't done this... Oh, and Veterans Respect has just been gained. That is absolutely fantastic. Probably one of the greatest things we could do here. Okay, so I'm actually just going to leave real fast, because I want to do this. Yeah, look at this. Oh yeah, 80 Botanian Fiance. 80 Botanian Fiance. That's absolutely insane. And there we go. All right, this is absolutely perfect. So yeah, as I said, 100% the best course of action for us to take was stopping the siege so that we can engage these two parties here, and then we can hopefully face the 940 separately. At least that's the idea, right? That's hopefully the idea. So we'll see if that actually matters or does anything. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But we'll see what happens with that. And, well, I think it's actually really, really interesting to see if we can even manage to capture a bunch of extra fiefs as we are at the moment. Because I know that if we were to retire and we were to switch our, you know, switch the control of our character over to one of our other people... one of our sons or daughters, we would... we'd have a pretty easy time, I feel like. We'd have a pretty easy time. Most notably for the fact that we have... Everything has a price. Everything has a price, being one of the most powerful perks in the game. If you have a lot of money, which, hilariously enough, just so happens that I do. Yes. So yeah, that would be kind of interesting at the very least. That would be quite interesting to see what we would be able to do with that. But we have a lot of money. We have a lot of money, so it's very, very likely we would be... I wouldn't say unstoppable, but I would say we would be extremely strong at that point. Because money is literally the only thing that matters when it comes to everything has a price. And we would absolutely slaughter everything in sight. And I'm talking about from an economic standpoint. Because we would just literally go and send messengers to every single lord that we know of. And basically just be like, hello there, give me your fief. You know? Give me your fief right now, sir. And then we would literally just get it. We would literally just get it every single day of the week. And of course, because we have banks... the funny thing is, I could have literally created bank accounts in every single town in the world. That's what I could have done, technically, right? And over time, the compounding interest would have just, well, basically just made us incredibly powerful. It would have been actually quite ridiculous, I think, for us to be that powerful. But yeah, that's what's happened. That's what's happened. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, I don't have I don't have everything has a price at the moment. So it very much depends on what happens to Barney, because if he does manage to get himself killed, or if he dies from old age or something like that, then we can always take over our son at that point. Hopefully he's not going to end up dying in that time. You know, I mean, knowing my luck, he may, in fact, meet a rather miserable end, because generally that does tend to happen to me quite often, where our sons and daughters die from sort of random things. But we can only hope that's not going to be happening anytime soon. I think we'll probably be okay. Yeah, we should probably just tell everyone to charge in here. I think we probably have this in the bag. Our forces are insanely strong right now, just purely because we have these, well, I mean, the Botanian Fians, obviously. The Botanian Fians being, this is the reason why I said, you know, Veterans Respect being upgraded from Forest Bandits just gives you every single little advantage that you could ever want. It's really pretty crazy, and that's exactly the reason why I was like, yeah, we really do need to get Veterans Respect, because it is just so good, especially when you have you know, when you have Forbury. If you have Forbury and you're having the opportunity to recruit a huge amount of Forest Bandits, and you're not just capturing them randomly, because obviously in the base game you will need to capture them in that sense. You know, you're going to have to do the legwork, as it were, you know, and you're going to have to basically be like, yeah, I'm going to have to fight these guys, and I'm going to have to convert them to our side, and, you know, do all that wonderful stuff that's kind of annoying sometimes. So, yeah, having Forbury really makes a huge difference, because you can see here we now have 55 Battanian Fians, and I assume, how many champions? Yes, we've got 46, and obviously bear in mind, my bear-tilled bear veterans, elites, and so on and so forth, they're also going to be gaining experience over time, and things are going to get crazy. Things are going to get really, really crazy, because the more that they gain experience, the more powerful they are going to get, which means the more powerful our own forces are going to get, because they're going to have the opportunity to field our units as well. I'm going to need to swap out these hogs for the moment, because they're going to be attributing to our herding problems, if we have any herding problems, that is. And we are just going to donate the rest of the experience and the loot and all that stuff to our forces here. Make sure that they are leveling up really, really quickly. We want to level them up as fast as possible, because that's going to be the game changer right here. It's going to make so much difference. It really is. So let's have a look here. Charge damage, doesn't really matter really. And let's go for well built here. That also doesn't really matter, but it's going to be nice if we do get the opportunity to take control of him. Okay, so the question is, I don't really... Oh, there we go. New gear unlocked. Loads of stuff being unlocked right now. Okay, turn the tide of a battle involving an allied army. Oh, we actually did that. Oh, okay. Well, thanks. That's great. I didn't even... technically, okay, I'm not entirely convinced that really worked that way, but sure. Okay, I will take it. I will take it. Thank you very much. Okay, so let me actually just see what I can do with this. I'm gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna have to do a whole bunch of leveling up with these guys. It's gonna be absolutely insane. Let's get some more thrown weapon skill with them. A little bit more two-handed. Probably gonna have to check their gear at some point soon, because otherwise we're literally just like, you know, leveling these guys up and basically not upgrading them in any way. But we are basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna focus on doing whatever I can when it comes to unlocking armor and, you know, weapons and, you know, anything else you want, and basically just trying to go from there. Because as it stands, as you can see right here, we don't actually have... Why don't we have the skill cap? Why don't we have a skill cap right here? It's because I need to add it at the very end here, don't I? Yes, I do. Okay, yeah, that's quite funny, isn't it? Yeah, so if I do this... Yeah. Okay, so let me see here. So these guys have one-handeds, right? Yeah, they have one-handeds for the most part. These guys have polearms. So these guys have okay, yeah, they also have polearms. Okay, so the best thing I can currently do probably is, considering they have one-handeds and they have bows, let's just level up their bow skill. So we'll just level up their bows as much as I can. Yeah, this system I feel like needs to be a little bit changed, or at least I feel like it. Because as it says, or shall we say, as you can see right here, it's very, very difficult to actually get your people leveled up dramatically. I mean, obviously I can't level up my bear tilt keys right now, but that's okay. I mean, we don't really need to. Well, I guess. I mean, I guess I could. Wait, let me just see here. If I do this and then do that. Yeah, no, I can actually make that work. Okay, yeah, I can actually make that work. They have 32. Okay. These guys are using polearms, so I kind of have to leave them like that. But this is exactly my point. You cannot go below the previous tier's lowest cap. You see that? And that's the reason why we're now having issues. So I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll just remove this guy's polearm skill for the moment. And we'll do the same with pretty much everyone. Can I do this 5 at a time? Yes, I can actually do that 5 at a time. Thank goodness. So I don't actually have to do all this annoying clicking. There we go. Okay, that's fantastic. So yeah, now what we can do is we can literally just do this. Massive amounts in bow skill, because obviously we do want to try and get bow skill as high as possible if we can. There we go. Get these guys, and there you go. That's also maxed out, but that's pretty much all we can do. So let's get these guys over here and actually just change out the Northern Cavalry Spear. Despite the fact that I actually feel as though having a polearm as a bow character is really, really strong in my opinion. I think that they would probably benefit dramatically from, you know, using one of these. But as it stands, obviously, yeah, maybe we don't want to do that right now. What about this? 63. Yeah. I'm not sure. I like the Veteran Warrior Axe, despite the fact that it has it's got such a basic stat profile, but it's so good in my opinion, because if we take a look at every other axe that you see here, you can see that most of these are lower damage. You know, most of them have lower damage. So I personally feel like the Veteran Warrior Axe is actually kind of the go-to here. I feel like that's really, really nice. Let's actually see what's going on with the body armor here. Maybe we can get some better body armor for them. No. I mean, some of the stuff, yeah, some of the stuff is slightly better. Not the actual body armor though. I don't really want to go for anything just yet, unless we are 100% certain that it's better. Ah, this is obviously better. So I'm thinking we'll probably do that. Wow, there's so much stuff that we unlocked. It's absolutely, it's just insane. Okay, so the question is, can I get more? Well, the helms. There's so much stuff. It's absolutely insane, isn't it? Look at how much stuff we have here. Okay, so yeah, we will be obviously specking into, well, not specking, but upgrading these guys. Let's give them heavy mail mittens, I suppose. And I don't think there's actually going to be anything better than scaled boots. I think scaled boots is basically the best we're going to get. Can I actually get a bow yet? Do I have a ranger bow or something like that? No, we don't. See, I mean a noble bow. Sorry, not ranger bow. But yeah, this is not so great. So what we're going to have to do, and this is the thing, I'm not sure if, can we win against these guys? They have 100, yeah, we can definitely win against these guys. Okay, yeah, this should be absolutely fine. Let's see what happens. Okay, so they're going in there. Let's go and help them. Ooh, that's close. Oh, I think he actually managed to get in there. That is so sad. Yeah, so the person with 327, I think that's the king himself actually, did manage to get into the battle. That's really, really sad actually. If only I'd been a little bit closer, then we wouldn't have had that issue. But it's just how it goes, right? It's just how it goes. And it is going to be a slightly more challenging battle now, because obviously beforehand we had the advantage. Now they have the advantage, so we're going to have to see what we can do. Now, we are, of course, with our allies, and I've said this time and time again. This is sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, actually a really bad thing. It's not a good idea sometimes to have your allies in the battle with you, because what they can do is they can basically sabotage your efforts. And it's completely unintentional. They don't mean to, right? They don't mean to. It's just because they are generally going to have lower level troops than you do. And as a result, they are going to get themselves killed really, really easily, as you can quite clearly tell from the two people getting... Wow, really? They're dying that fast? Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Wow, this guy has so much HP. How does he have so much HP? They must have someone with Minister of Health or something like that. They must do, right? That is actually insane. I'm not sure how we're going to really... How are we going to do this? It feels to me like we're having a bad time. Yeah. Sounds to me like we're having a bad time here. We might not even... Am I even going to be able to do this? I have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling about this. Yeah, I don't even know where my forces are, to be honest. Okay, my forces are up there. Are they actually going to do a good job? I mean, that's the funny thing. I feel like if I'm by myself, I feel like we have a very, very high chance of victory just because my forces are all relatively well hand-picked people. So that, you know, I know what they're capable of. I know what they're going to be about. Whereas the units that we have right here are just random assortment of very low tier troops apparently, so it may in fact be the case that I will literally just retreat. You know what? I think I am actually going to do that. I don't want to. That's the funny thing. I don't want to because I really would like to achieve victory here, because if we can achieve victory here, this is basically game over for the Vlandians, or at the very least would be game over in a very significant fashion if we decide to take some drastic measures, and I'm talking about murdering the king, you know, executing the king. But the question is, do we want to do that? I don't know. Maybe, because he's got a pretty large clan, you know, he's got a pretty large party, and I don't really want to fight that consistently, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see. There's just so many cavalry here. I think that's the main problem. We are suffering quite a few casualties just purely because the enemy has so many cavalry. The funny thing is, if I was by myself, this would be a no-brainer because these guys would literally just be running around so much that they wouldn't have enough high damage frequency, basically. Their shall we say, DPS, damage per second, would be too low for for us to actually be killed in any way. You know, they would maybe kill one of us every few seconds, whereas we would just be slaughtering them by the dozen. So yeah, you know what? I think I will. Can I actually... Wait a minute. Am I stuck? Oh. No. I can just go around here. There we go. Whew. I was a bit worried there for a second. I was really, really worried about that. Okay, so yeah, I think I am actually going to retreat here. I don't really want to because I think that that is a huge waste of an opportunity, but what's currently happening is just terrible, you know, because we are eventually just going to... We are going to eventually lose because that's just how things are. So, unfortunately, I will have to retreat from here. Maybe I can get my army away from here as well. No, I cannot. As you can see, I cannot retreat from this situation now. That's bad. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, well, the only thing I can really do from here is just go for it. I guess just go for it and try my best to keep my own forces alive. So don't put my own forces on the line here, because you can see we've got a very small smattering of archers, and the most unfortunate thing about this particular situation is that they don't give me the opportunity to lead the entire army. So the AI is going to do some really weird stuff, and they're going to tell their forces to go in these really weird directions and everything, and it's going to make things very, very difficult for us. And they have mostly infantry. They have mostly trash infantry. No offense to them, but they're not very good. So I'm going to tell my forces I will play like a team. All right, I will play like a team. I don't really want to because it usually results in me losing more people, but I'm going to try to contribute as much as I possibly can so that we all win, as it were, instead of me just basically being like throwing them to the wolves, you know, because I think we could possibly do that and then just come in and actually win in the end. That would be the overall best thing for us to do. I'm just going to put my forces up there with everyone else. Hopefully we can do that. And then we can do some damage. I'm just going to try and inflict as much damage as possible around here. I'm not going to really care about the enemy's cavalry anymore. I'm just going to let my forces deal with them, and I'll try to do as much damage as I can in this situation, because I feel like what we really need to do is just try to focus on the big globule of units and see what happens. Maybe this is going to contribute more damage than chasing after those random cavalry that are attempting to hit and run against us all the time. Alright, so it's going a little bit better this time. As you can see, we've actually eliminated quite a significant amount of the enemy's forces, and this is all thanks to me just literally running around them in circles, pretty much just poking at them every so often, and that's pretty much it. That's all I can really hope for, to be honest, because most of the time, if I were to go after the enemy's cavalry, for example, in my opinion, that's going to result in us having way too low DPS for us to actually contribute in a significant way. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to do as much damage as I can to enemies that are in the back line and actually having a pretty nice contribution here, I think. At least it feels that way. It feels like I can do a little bit more here. The main problem with this, obviously, is the fact that they have so many shields, right? This is obviously the main reason why I also wanted to create units with shields, because I personally feel like the funny thing is, if you play, for example, let's see, if you play a mod, like a total conversion or something like that, that doesn't have a shield, and I'm talking mostly about Japanese feudal mods, you know, like Shokuho and, you know, things like that. If you play things like that, and then you get used to the way things are there, where they don't have shields, right? They don't have shields as a thing. Like, yeah, they do have shields of a sort, but they don't actually have the traditional shield types. And so if you have that and you get used to that, and then you're literally like, oh wow, this is actually insanely fun, because shields, in my opinion, actually ruin the experience quite a great deal when it comes to fighting in a normal situation. So I'm talking about like fighting right now. Most of the time, I don't know whether you've heard, over the course of me just running around these guys in circles and basically just trying to kill them as much as I possibly can, shields are plunking all the time. They're just going plunk, 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 plunk. You know, every single time one of my polearm hits a shield, it's just plunk, 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 0 damage. You know, and obviously that is exactly what a shield is supposed to do. But I do think that the, shall we say, not the over-reliance, but I would definitely say that there is a significant amount of way too much defensiveness in the base game, basically. And for me personally, I love when there aren't any shields, because obviously apart from the fact that it does make ranged troops so much more effective, obviously maybe a little bit too effective sometimes, but there are other ways that you can balance that out, you know what I mean? Anyway, the point is, it really makes a huge difference, you know? It really makes a huge difference, and that's the reason why I'm like, oh yeah, we should probably try to, you know, deal with those ourselves instead of having our units deal with them, because if we let our units do it, well, they're probably not going to do a very good job, because most of my people are ranged, and if they're having to deal with shields, well, that's a whole other different kettle of fish, because obviously, as I've said, they're already quite difficult to deal with. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue here. So let's see if I can continue to inflict damage here. I'm not doing that much in regards to DPS right now. A lot of the enemy are spread out quite dramatically, and they're making things quite hard for us. If I can get, you know, 3-4 kills every couple of seconds, that's a pretty decent amount. I would like more than that, though, if at all possible. If I can, I'd like to get an entire, you know, swathe of units. Yeah, like this, for example. This is actually perfect. Unfortunately, they are obviously together, and they are very, very defensively minded. Are my forces actually doing a good job? We've killed... Oh, wow, they suck! My guys suck! This is bad. Okay, this is really bad. I'm not a big fan, not a big fan. I was kind of hoping that my guys wouldn't be so bad, but they are not actually doing as much damage as I hoped that they would do. So we are now in a situation where I'm having to increase the amount that I can do, and that's very, very difficult as it stands. As you can see, I'm having a hard time actually even making any hits right now. There we go. That's a little bit better, a little bit better. Yep, shields once again. There's another one. And there we go. Hit that guy. Okay, yeah. So now, the funny thing is, this is exactly what I was talking about. Let's get my guys to come a little bit closer down here. But yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. Basically, as you see, our AI friends are so bad that they are basically causing a significant amount of morale problems in the actual battle itself. And that just speaks volumes, you know, because what they're doing is they're losing so many troops that it's actually affecting the overall morale of the battlefield. And that's the reason why I generally don't really like fighting with the AI most of the time. It's actually quite funny, because you'd think, oh, it's going to be so much easier if we have, you know, AI units helping us out, right? AI lords and everything helping us out. I mean, you can imagine that it would be kind of useful, right? Yeah, well, normally I'd say yes, but in this case, it is not. It is actually less useful, because they're going to get themselves killed really, really easily. They're going to be creating a significant morale vacuum. It's basically a vacuum of morale here, because what's happening is they're dying super, super easily, and the morale is just evaporating from our side and assisting the enemy. And that's generally what is happening, because you can see here, we've eliminated 500, the enemy has eliminated 250. Now, the morale obviously is looking still pretty fine, but the combat strength is not. And what's going to continue happening is they're going to continue spawning units in, and they will suck. They do seem to be sucking right now, so I'm a little bit worried about that, to be honest. But the only thing I can do is just try my best, try to continue doing as much damage as possible. Oh, hello. This is a nice amount of units right here. Let's try not to die, because these guys are all crossbowmen, and they can murder us so fast and so easily. Oh, dearie me. If they hit us all at the same time, we will die. So I have to be a little bit careful. Hopefully my forces will just slowly spawn in and replace our allies. That's the only thing I can really be very, very hopeful for here. Because if not, then I think we're going to have a problem. As you can see, lots of crossbowmen. Yeah, loads of these guys. Yeah, I mean, the Vlandians are known for that, you know. The Vlandians are really, really good with their crossbowmen. They've kind of picked up where the Roddox left off with that. And I can only be thankful that we have a decent horse, to be honest, because obviously it's surviving really, really well here. I mean, I guess that's thanks to our horse armor. And I think we might be okay. This might be in the bag. I don't want to call it just yet, because I do think that... Oh, no. Yeah, more enemies coming in. Nice damage. That was a nice hit right there. I kind of always want to do that. I always want to try to get multiple hits on multiple enemies if I can. That would be the perfect situation to be in. Ah, don't get stopped, don't get stopped. If we get stopped in a stationary position, we may die very, very easily. Yep. No. Careful. Thankfully, a lot of the time, these guys are not actually attacking me. So I can be a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, this is bad. Alright, so it looks as though this is indeed a victory for us. They do have 1100, right? So, you know, just bear in mind we still have another like 400 kills or something like that to deal with, but I think we are in a situation now where we might have this in the bag. It's a little bit... I mean, I wouldn't say it's dicey because we are significantly ahead, but we also have 400 kills left, basically, because we have 700 people, and they've killed 320 of us, so... It could still very well, I don't know, it could still actually result in our defeat. If I get myself killed here, for example, if I die, that's basically game over. And, yeah, as you can see, they're just running in and dying. Our forces are just running in and dying right now. Which is frankly just absolutely useless. That is really not what we need, thank you. Yeah, I think this is it. I think we're good. I probably just need to tell my forces to charge in. Let's tell my forces to charge in here. Most of the enemy are now basically very low level troops, so we should be able to get a massive run up over them and absolutely just slaughter everything in our path. At least that's the hope, right? That's the hope. So let's see if we can maybe make that work. It seems okay at the moment. Obviously, here's the thing. If you do have a slashing polearm as well, slashing polearm's probably going to have slightly more damage output in this situation, because you're going to be able to slash it pretty much every single time, and you might catch, you know, 3, maybe even 4 enemies at once. But I've kind of grown to like the thrusting abilities of a thrusting polearm, just because it is so much more... well, it just provides you with that little bit of extra reach, so it puts you a bit less in a vulnerable position. You're not really as exposed when it comes to attacking an opponent. That's the reason why I kind of like that a little bit more. Nowadays, at least. Because I used to be like, oh yes, slashing polearm, I love slashing polearms, and indeed, I still do, but they really do expose you quite a bit. And I've seen that time and time again where I've gone for the slash and I've taken a significant amount of damage, maybe even died, just purely because the slashing polearm opens you up. So it is quite dangerous to do that. I think I can probably zoom forward. Yep, Yeah. We're done. Oh, no. Don't crash now. Don't crash. Whew. That was a little bit close, wasn't it? All right. So there you go. We managed. Whew. Okay. That was good. That was good. Okay. So I killed 339, if you can believe it. 339. That's insane. And there you go. I did actually level up my leadership skill as well a little bit more. And yeah, I'm actually not sure what to do with this guy. Because how old is he? He's 78. So it's very, very likely he might, I don't know. Is it likely? I have no idea. No, he's got 206. Look, he's got so much medicine skill. This guy's insane. He's even got 325. Look at this guy. I need to kill him, I think. I think I need to kill him. This is probably not the best idea, but I am going to do it, okay? Do not expect mercy. Off with your head. Okay. Prepare to die. Boom. Goodbye, sir. There we go. He's way too good, you know? He's way too good to let live because all the other, all the other vassals are not really going to have the same kind of stats, right? He's a 78-year-old insane veteran. And he's really gonna provide a significant amount of benefit to his troops. That's exactly the reason why we had such a hard time dealing and actually killing any of those people, because they all had the benefit of Minister of Health. So that really made a huge difference. So we are just gonna take everyone else prisoner here, and I'm not gonna be... There we go. Oh, okay. Apparently, I rescued someone. All right. Okay. Well, that's quite nice. Okay. So let me just see here. I'm gonna just take what I can. Gonna take Britannians, Imperials. I don't really want to take anything that is specifically difficult to deal with. There we go. Loads of level ups right here. Loads and loads of level ups. This is super, super nice. Okay, so let's get this and that. And look at that. Another 39 Britannian fiance. That is insane. And let's get a little bit more of these. And then we can move on. Okay, so, wow, 112,000 experience. That's crazy. Okay, I'm not sure if we're... Should I don't know. Should I take some loot? I guess I'll take some loot. How much loot are we actually going to get from this? This is kind of incredible. I don't know how this is going to work, but okay. How much? Really? Still? There we go. Okay, 107,000. Wow. Whew. That's a lot. That's a lot of experience right there. How many people actually leveled up as a result of that? 84. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. So let me actually just have a look here. Yeah, we'll just do this. Imperial Crossbowmen, more of those guys. There we are. And there we have it. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, we now have over 100 Britannian Fian champions. And this is, as I said to you, it's all thanks to the fact that we were able to get our Forest Bandits, right? So I just recruited, I don't know whether you saw that. I think I did show that in the previous episode, but I recruited well over 120, 150 Forest Bandits from the Forest Bandit hideout. Obviously, you can do that if you have Forbury, and obviously you can do that if you've donated a significant amount, so that the strength of those Forest Bandits is significant, and then you can actually start, drawing things out, drawing troops out and everything, and just having a grand old time like that. It really made a huge difference. So. Highly recommended. Anyway, the point is, that's how we did it. And now we have a significant amount of Britannian Fian champions who, all intents and purposes, are amazing. They're extremely, extremely strong. And hopefully we're going to be able to maximize them as time goes on as well. Okay, I have nothing else to spec into here. I guess I could spec into trade skill, but that makes no sense whatsoever. I guess I could spec into mariner skill. Mariner skill? Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll spec into that, even though that's not really going to help me that much. But yeah, anyway, there you go. Massive amounts of new gear unlocked. Lead an army of mostly allied troops to victory against an enemy army. Defeat a ruler of a different culture in battle. Okay, wow, that's pretty cool. Let me actually just go to my troop screen here and see if I can unlock any of these. No, we have this. What's this? Complete 5 quests for allied lords. Okay. Well, I do have an army right next to me, so potentially I could do that. Win 3 defensive battles in a row. Wow, in a row? What? Okay, upgrade for 100 basic custom troops to max tier. That's 55 to 100. Lead an army for 10 days in a row. 6 out of 10. Oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah, sure. I can definitely do that. That's going to be pretty easy for us, right? Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do... I'm going to go and join the continuing siege here, because... Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, that kind of makes sense. That's actually kind of sad. The execution has hurt your relations with 27 clans. And we have now gained the devious trait, which does actually have a rather significant impact now. Apparently, traits do have more of an impact than they used to. So I'm quite intrigued about that, but I guess that doesn't really matter too much right now because we're now at peace with everyone. But I guess this gives me an opportunity to go over to Maranath because I believe we do have the maximum over there as well, in the bank, that is. So let's actually see here. Yeah, this guy wants to marry our daughter. This is not good because she's going to join him, and we don't want that. We want to try to maximize the amount of people that we have in our clan, of course. Lead an army for 10 days in a row. There we go. That was instantly done, basically. Very, very simple. And we can actually have a look here. Are we done? No, we're still not done. Okay, well, we need... Yeah, we need to do a whole bunch of stuff here. +5 to skill. Yeah, we'll do that relatively soon. And what's this? Win 3 defensive battles in a row. That's kind of hard. Complete 5 quests for allied lords. I could probably do that quite easily. Yes. Okay, well, yeah, as you can see right there. Okay, so let's take out 90 million. So, yeah, there we go. Done. 90 million. Boom. All right, so that's going to be absolutely insane. And then we can actually start... Look at that. I have 178 million, if you can believe it. Yes, 178 million. And indeed, Pencannock is also doing its thing with the banking. I actually have no idea how much it even has in there. Let's take a look. It has 17,600,000. Okay, so we don't really need to worry about that too much. Technically, what I could do is I could put a lot of money in here and just get it compounding a little bit more, I suppose. So what I could do is... let's do 20 million, I guess. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now that's obviously the interest rate is going to go sky high, so that's really, really nice. And maybe I should open another bank account. Should I open another bank account? Let's do that. Let's get another bank account here. Let's deposit. I don't know. Let's do what? Let's do 30 million, I guess. So boom, there we go. Okay, yeah. So that's obviously going to make a huge difference as well, because all of these things are going to compound, and then eventually we'll have a great time, right? Or at least I hope so. Okay, so we've got our son leveling up here as well. Let's see, what do we have here? Frugal is probably going to be the way to go. What else do we actually want with this guy? Yeah, well, we want him to be good at riding as well. I'm not sure why I haven't spec'd into riding with him that much. Okay, so we now have a fief, right? We now have a fief. So technically what we can do, and Istiona has actually given birth to another baby, so that's really, really nice. She's obviously our daughter-in-law. So we now have a granddaughter or a grandson, grandchild, and hopefully we'll get something from that. Hopefully that will be really, really nice for us. Okay, so as you can see, Egan is doing a great job. Yes, surprisingly so, in actual fact. And yeah, loyalty is leveling up really, really well. The prosperity is not doing very well at all, but that's just how things are, isn't it? That's just how things are. But we are getting some extremely, extremely nice level ups here, or not level ups, but a significant amount of people in the garrison. And you can see, oh, look at the amount of bear tilts. Look at this. Wow, this is actually pretty crazy. I'd love to take these more. The question is that actually a good idea? Is it actually a good idea for me to take these guys? Sure. Let's take a whole bunch. Not too many, but just enough, right? Okay, so let's just wait for some time, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be another war declaration sometime soon. Let's see what happens with that, because, I mean, literally, look at the prosperity of Sargot and Maranath in comparison to Kerbanseth, which I have, which is 1200. Are you joking? That is insane. Okay, so yeah, anyway, Azerai, they are indeed at war against us. Let me actually see what happens here. Oh, what's this? Okay. Bear destroyers, they want to leave, so grant them their wish and encourage them to purchase land? Sure. There we go. We've gained the generous trait. That's fine with me. I don't have a problem with that, because I do want to level up my my militia levels, because if we level up militia, we're going to get the doctrine thing unlocked a little bit quicker. And we can get another Battanian Fian there. Okay, yeah. So what we're going to do is we are probably going to go over to, I guess, Gersegos Castle. I don't really want to go over there, to be honest. But as you can see, I was going to say the Saranids. No, not the Saranids. But the Azerai have actually been inflicting huge territorial damage on the Southern Empire or something like that. I think the Southern Empire. I don't know, something like that. And they are absolutely just doing fantastic work. They really are. So let's deposit, I don't know, 40 million. There we go. A rebel faction in Britannia. Yeah, so technically what I could do is I could place all my units in Kerbanseth, and then I could go and challenge Mr. Caladog. But the problem... See, now, this is the thing. The problem with me doing that, right, is that would, in my opinion, I think that would yes, as you can see, that would significantly weaken the Battanians as a whole, right? Because look at his stats. His stats are insane. He even has, how does he have 360 leadership? I wouldn't know, but he has 463 polearms as well. So, yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So if he were to be killed... This is taking a significant power off the battlefield, and I don't really want to do that if I can help it, right? So I don't know. She's got good stats. Yeah, she is actually, I believe she's actually Caladog's, yeah, Caladog's daughter. So yeah, she has great stats too, and then her sister doesn't, okay, and her brother does, kind of. Right. Okay, well, I still have an army here. I guess we're gonna continue going. We could also... We could get some people. Why not? Let's get some people to come along and help us. Prince Mengus. Yes, Prince Mengus can come and help us too. And we're going to see what we can do about Gersegos Castle, because I think we can probably take that pretty easily, right? I think we can probably take it pretty easily. Now, let me just go into my troops real fast here. Let me just take a quick look. Okay. Yeah, these guys have none of those. We have some of these. Okay, yeah, so we can actually level these guys. We can't actually level them up at all. Yeah, that's kind of what I was a little bit worried about. It's going to be bad, isn't it? All right. Well, let's see what we can do here. Obviously, we can basically build these extremely quickly just because we have so much engineering skill. But the question is, are the Azerai going to come over here? Because there's probably a significant amount of time where they're going to be, well, defending against other people, potentially, right? So, maybe they don't want to. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, let's see what happens here. Did we already... We already destroyed the walls? How did we already destroy the walls? How did we do that? Wow, that was incredibly fast. I don't even understand how that even happened, but alright, okay. I guess that's how things are going to go. And we can get this guy a little bit of a specking here. Riding skill, yep. Okay. Yeah. Let's go straight on in here. I'm just gonna remove these things. Gonna leave the fire onager right there because it's gonna do insanely good, in my opinion. And we're just going to get these things like that. There we are. Oh, okay, so yeah, fine. Now, let's go. We've obviously eliminated both sections of the walls. That does not mean that it's going to be a no-brainer victory, even though, to be honest, probably, maybe it will be. Maybe it will be somewhat easy. But it's been a while since we've actually done a siege where we've won it relatively quickly and easily. But yeah, this is definitely going to make a huge difference. Whoa, me going in. Wow, really? They're allowing me to get in here this easily? Okay. I don't think the Vlandians would have allowed me to get in here this easily, but I don't know. Maybe they would have. Yeah, that just goes to show different unit types, you know? Different unit types really make a huge difference because the Vlandians have, you know, loads of polearm-based units as well. And the Aserai, I don't think, do that much. And you can see here we're actually already inside doing so much damage. Oh, they do have a couple of spearmen. Palace guards as well, of course. But yeah, you can see exactly... Look at this. Look at how insane this is. This is crazy. Look at this. Wow. I'm actually really surprised that we were able to get in here so fast. But I guess that is to be expected, considering we did take the walls down. But I am more surprised that the enemy's units were not right in front of us, as in they weren't just blocking the way, but they let us get in so easily. Alright, well, this is going to be kind of easy for us, and hopefully we can just clear them out, and that's going to be it. And then we've already taken yet another castle and expanded Britannia's territory. And there it is. There's the victory for us right there. I almost died, hilariously enough. I literally almost died because we got stuck in and amongst these respawns, these reinforcements that came in. Anyway, there you go. That is a wonderful victory for us right there. And indeed, we can take a couple of prisoners. I don't know whether I really want to. I guess we will. Why not? Let's just expand our potential for cavalry, I suppose. I mean, that's always quite nice, isn't it? The Manavliatons are actually quite nice to take as well, so why not? And we're just going to move on from here. Whoa, actually quite a significant amount of stuff. The question is, do I want to take this stuff? I don't know, actually. Yeah, you know what? Let's just take a couple. Take a couple of them. And there we have it. Okay, so yeah, we're obviously getting our people leveled up. Do I want to claim this? No. I actually don't want to claim this. It's way too far away, in my opinion, from my own fief to really make this worth it. That's the reason why I wanted to take Pendraic Castle, because I actually wanted that for myself. But, yeah. No such luck. No such luck this time around, eh? Yes, it's going to be a little bit problematic. So, yeah. Not sure how it's really going to go, to be honest, with our troops, because what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to level forces up into Bear-tailed bear destroyers, and I need them to get significant amounts of experience so that I can level them up, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to do that. You see, that's the issue. I'm not going to be able to do that because I guess I could remove them. Yeah, I guess I could remove them. As you can see right here, I can actually remove them, and then what I could do is I could just level up a really low level. I think that's probably what I'm supposed to do. Isn't that what I'm supposed to do? Yeah, maybe. But now that I have these units, it's probably going to cause a crash if I decide to remove them now. Because I've got 50 of these guys. So, oh well, never mind. I'm just going to stick with it for now and see what happens. Maybe eventually it's going to pay off, but yeah, well, we'll see, I guess. Anyway, we're still at war against the Aserai. We are probably going to be making our way to these other castles here, and then maybe going over to Jarmaris and maybe attempting to take that. I might even try to take that right now. I mean, that's probably going to be a slightly better use of our time and effort, but I don't know. Maybe it's easy just getting these nice little castles claimed. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.